Hey guys, all right, I'm back for part 2. So you should have made predictions. I have today, I have an egg, I have apple juice, and I have some cracker. And I'm going to be testing all of these for the different food nutrients. So you should have made predictions about what nutrients you think would be present in each of these: carbohydrates, actually that would be simple sugars, starch, protein, or lipids. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. I'm going to run each of the tests. Okay, so I have cracked my egg here, and I have, I'm actually going to test egg white. Sorry, that's egg white. And we're going to also test the cracker. So the cracker, what I did was I'm going to grind it up. So I'm going to put this down so you can see a little better. So I have this, and I'm basically going to take some cracker, some of these crackers, I'm going to grind these up a little bit with the mortar and pestle so that I have some little cracker pieces. And I figured that will make it a little easier for me to test. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run the Benedict's test. Remember, that was my sugar test. So I'm going to run the Benedict's test on my 3 items. So juice, egg, cracker. I have my 3 test tubes. I have them labeled. Over here, I have my hot water bath, which is actually a bit hotter than I need it to be. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to transfer. I know you guys can't see this extremely well. This is the egg. And I tried to add a little bit of water here to this egg white because egg white tends to be a little bit thick. So I'm probably going to need to add a little more water. My concern is just I don't want the egg white to cook in my Benedict's test. I really just want to see if it's positive or negative for sugar. So there's my egg. My apple juice, I'm going to put a little bit of apple juice here in this one. So there's my juice. All right. And in my last one, my cracker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this ground up cracker and I'm going to put it in here. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to that. And then I'm going to drop these, if you recall, so for my sugar test, my Benedict's test, my indicator is Benedict's solution, but I have to heat it. So as a reminder from yesterday, this is what negative looks like. So it's just a blue color. So I'm going to add a little bit of my Benedict's indicator to all 3 of these tubes, put these in my hot water bath. There we go. All right, so I've got a little bit of Benedict's, and all of these, they are still, even though my apple juice is a little bit yellow, but it's still a clear yellow. All right, and I'm going to set those in my hot water bath, and I'm going to leave them for a minute or so. While those are sitting for a moment, while they warm up to see if those things are going to be positive for sugar, let me go ahead and run the Lugol's test. So this is my starch test for Lugol's. All right, so I have my egg and my juice. So again, I'm going to get a sample. All right, if you recall on that one, so this is my egg here. Get a little bit of egg, all right, and a little bit of apple juice. All right, and I am going to add Lugol's this time. So a reminder that this Lugol's test, it turned a brown color. So here's some in my juice. Here's some in my egg. All right, here is my juice, apple juice. Here is my egg. And just a reminder, this was negative test for Lugol's yesterday. I don't have my positive out here. So both of those appear to be negative. My Benedict's is about ready also here. So let me show you my results. So this is my apple juice. If you need some white paper here. So this is my sugar test for apple juice. You should be able to compare that from yesterday as to whether that's positive or negative. This is egg. Now, interestingly, it did change color, but that, remember from yesterday what the color is for positive for a Benedict's test. And this is my cracker, and really, I would say it's still pretty much blue, all right? So that's my results for my Benedict's test, my sugar test. I just showed you Lugol's. Let me show you Lugol's for the cracker. So for the cracker, for the Lugol's, I'm actually going to put a little bit of cracker in this dish, this Petri dish. Let's see if I can show that to you a little better. All right, and I'm going to put a little bit of the Lugol's directly on it. So this is my Lugol's test for cracker. All right, I don't know how well you can see that there. Maybe if I put it on some white background. So I think you can see my Lugol's test for cracker there. So you notice that blackish color, all right? So that's my starch test for cracker. And now the protein test. So for my protein test, I'm actually going to do these a little bit out of order. So that's my Burettes test. A reminder that on the Burettes test, negative was a blue. Let me show you my negative from yesterday. Sorry, this is my Burettes test from yesterday. I don't know how well you can see that. So I'm going to put some Burettes directly on my cracker and see what result we get. So let me set the cracker down right here and get a little bit of sample of Burettes solution. All right, so here's my cracker with the Burettes. I don't know how well you can tell, but I'm still seeing blue definitely on my cracker here. All right, let me do the Burettes test on our egg and on our apple juice. So let me get samples again of egg and apple juice. So, sorry, not the best recording ever. All right, so here's my egg in here. I'm just gonna put a little, I don't think we need very much. And my apple juice here. All right, and I'm gonna add a little bit of my Burettes solution. I think you can see juice, egg, and Burettes. So this is protein test. So here's protein test on egg. And sorry, let me get a little bit more Burettes here. Protein test on juice. All right, and I realize that the juice has a bit of a yellow tinge to it, but I think if I add enough of this Burettes, we can definitely see what color we're getting here. I'll add one more squirt of this. All right, so just a reminder, our negative test for your Burettes protein test here. And then our juice in the middle. And then over here on the right, this is our egg. And notice that purple color we're getting for the egg. All right, so that's our Burettes test for protein. So we've done our starch test, we've done our protein test, we've done our sugar test. That leaves us with the Sudan-4 test for fat. So remember, the Sudan-4 was a powder. And that powder basically either dissolves or it doesn't. Now, what I also know about this powder is that it'll turn a bright pink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try smashing it in with some of the cracker to see to test the cracker. So there's my mortar and pestle again. I'm going to add a little bit of this and see if I can get any pink. If it stays a maroon and doesn't really dissolve, then that would be negative. But actually, if you take a look here on my ground up cracker, you'll see this you can actually see it really well on the pestle there. So here you go. So you can see here, the cracker is actually positive for fat. That test, rather than it dissolving really, but I could grind it in there and it turns a bright pinkish color. I don't know how well you can see this. I can show you a little bit of the Sudan-4 powder on its own without any cracker. And I don't know how well you can see that, but let me put this down a little bit. It's actually a very deep maroon, not a bright pink. So when you see this bright pink as opposed to this deep maroon, it's definitely staining some fat. So the cracker would be positive for fat. Let's do our egg really quick. So I'm going to add a little bit of egg. Let's let's see, actually, we'll just add a little bit of egg here in this empty one. Hold on. Okay, sorry. So I'm gonna add a little bit of egg here and see if we can get, let me try pouring it a little. There we go. All right, so we got a good sample of egg. Sorry. All right, and let's add a little bit of this same Sudan 4 and see if we get any solubility in the egg. A lot of people think egg's going to be positive since eggs are high in cholesterol, but I'm not getting anything dissolving in egg white. Cholesterol is not, this is not testing for cholesterol, just a heads up. This is testing for like fat. Cholesterol, although it's a lipid, it's not a fat. So this is a negative test. So the cracker was positive, our egg is negative, and our apple juice, let's try that. So here's a little bit of our apple juice. Pour that here. And again, let's see if we get any dissolving here in the apple juice. And I don't know how well you can see that, but our apple juice also no solubility, so negative. So it looks like the only one that had any fat was our cracker. All right, so we've got our results. All right, last thing is a counterfeit money test. So part E is or D, or I don't know what part it is. Okay, is a counterfeit money test. So what I have here is a $10 bill and a piece of paper. So paper is made of starch. It's got starch in it. So if I put a little bit of Lugol's on some paper, notice the color change I get here. All right. And now I'm going to put a little bit on the money. And notice the difference. All right. So here's my $10 bill and there's my Lugol's. You've probably seen this test in the grocery store. If somebody pays with a 10 or maybe with a 50 or something, let me wipe off the excess. All right, notice even the paper towel is positive for starch. It turns this blackish color, bluish navy black. But here's my $10 bill and notice it doesn't. So one of the questions it's gonna ask you in the lab is for an explanation. You'll have to do a little research about what money's made of and why this test works and basically, you know, why are they using this as a counterfeit test in the store? All right, so that's all of the results. I think they were a little bit messy, but hopefully we can sort through them and you can work on your analysis.